In this video I'm going to walk the short distance between Earl's Court Station and Gloucester Road Station. But first, some history. Let's look at the Earl's Court area on a map dating from the 18th century. Before it became absorbed by London's sprawl, there was no village centre in Earl's Court. It consisted of a manor house and its associated farm. This first map shows the modern Earl's Court Road running left to right across the scene. It's a bit counterintuitive, since the left of the map is north and the south of the map is on the right. But the farm marked here as Earl's Court Farm exactly marks the position of the modern Earl's Court Station entrance. And situated diagonally opposite was the Earl's Court Manor House. This managed all of the local agriculture during the 18th century. Around 1700, a brewhouse belonging to a Matthew Child had stood near what is now 185 Earl's Court Road. The John Rock map here, dating from 1746, shows little building in the locality. I've marked the future site of Earl's Court Station with a star. There were 3 paths which converged at the manor house and farm. These paths are better seen if we change the mapping to the beginning of the 1830s. While serving the needs of the local manor, the paths also brought potential customers past the brewhouse, and this developed into the White Hart Inn by 1722. The path marked in green later became Hogarth Road, and the inn stood beside its junction with Earl's Court Road. Let's move forward to a map from the 1860s. Earl's Court was one of the final areas of southern Kensington to be developed. Earl's Court Farm, under several generations of the Hutchins family, had been a very successful arable farm and market garden. Mr. Alloway, another market gardener, took over in 1844, and he can be seen in a notable 1860s photograph. He is shown beside the old farm wearing a bowler hat alongside some of his workers, who included a Mr. Goddard and a Mr. Ives. The manor house can be seen across the road. Now stand outside Earl's Court Station on the blue police box, and the site of the manor house would be the Courtfield pub. But back to the 1860s, urbanisation was creeping down the Earl's Court Road from Kensington High Street. The area then consisted of market gardens, with some wonderfully named roads: Raspberry Lane, Lovers Walk. But the Metropolitan District Railway was built in 1869. Here is a view of their trench dug behind the area between Earl's Court Road and Gloucester Road. Back in 1869 the area was so rural that no station was built at Earl's Court. Due to local pressure, Earl's Court Station was finally built a few years later in 1871, and it was built directly through the site of the farm where Mr. Alloway sat in the earlier photo. This next map dates from 1872, less than a year after the station opened. The 1872 Earl's Court Station is across the road from the modern station. The buildings of the farm are still in place. On the 30th of December 1875, Earl's Court Station burnt down. A new permanent building on the west side of Earl's Court Road was opened on the 1st of February 1878. And this is the station we know and love today. At least, I know and love it. I think it's fantastic. At the start of the 20th century, the railway was electrified, and the famous platform signs were put there just to show how modern the railway was. Earl's Court Road became completely built up, and the modern road, another century later, is the result. Earl's Court to Gloucester Road. Let's go! Starting here from outside Earl's Court Station and its quite famous Tardis, This was an experiment returning the police box to the streets, and it only dates from the mid-1990s when a policeman called John Hodges proposed the idea of installing a vandal-proof box resembling an old police box. After securing permission from the Home Office for this, an experimental box was installed here in 1996, in April of that year, and it was designed to the original trench model and features a CCTV camera on top to monitor the area and a direct line to the nearby Kensington police station. The £11,000 cost of the project was primarily covered by local businesses. But right now the police box serves mainly as a tourist attraction for Doctor Who fans. But it's still got the CCTV camera on the top, so it's keeping an eye on everybody. While we're waiting for the traffic along Earl's Court Road to clear and allow us across, here's my walking route today. It's not so complicated. Barkston Gardens and then Courtfield Gardens. And speaking of Courtfield, there's the Courtfield pub, which occupies the site of the original Earl's Court Manor House, as we discussed earlier. Barkston Gardens is the first of a series of long roads adorned with elegant 5-storey Victorian terraces, and the whole area was laid out between about 1865 and 1896 on the estates of the brothers, who were called James and Robert Gunter. Their building period ran into the age of flats and red brick. So the Gunter estates were acquired piecemeal over 3 generations at the hands of the first James Gunter, who was a Berkeley Square confectioner who died in 1819, and continued by his son Robert, and then the next generation, also called Robert and James, who completed the accumulation of land in 1857. But the reason for all the Courtfield names dates back to the 16th century, when the holding known as Courtfield extended as far east as Holcomore Lane, which is now called Gloucester Road. Alas, this garden on the right is private, and so we can't go in. Ahead here is a very different building style, white stucco. Having turned right into Courtfield Gardens, we'll take a bit of a dog's leg and we'll walk along here and then along the south side, which is also part of the same road name. So as we get to this junction, we'll cross the road. And on the other side of the road here is St Jude's Church, which is currently invisible due to all the summer foliage from this particular point. But the church occupies an entire block and was built on the northern part of the Robert Gunther estate. St Jude's was the result of an 1867 collaboration between the architects George Godwin and Henry Godwin. The project was financially backed by John Darby Allcroft, who was a prosperous glove manufacturer. Well, someone's got to be. I guess someone's got to make money out of gloves, and it was him. So the church building is now occupied by the St Mellitus College, which offers ordination and theology courses. But it's still open as a church on a Sunday. So one block south of here is the parallel Harrington Gardens, and I'll take the briefest of architectural detours. Part of Harrington Gardens occupies a unique position in the history of London residential architecture. It's one of two local developments situated amongst all the red brick, and it represents the pinnacle of late Victorian architectural individualism. The houses here were built between 1880 and 1888. It was the architectural firm of Ernest George and Petter who designed these distinctive dwellings. The firm was renowned for developing a quite innovative and elaborate domestic architectural style, which incorporated Northern European elements and the very then fashionable Queen Anne style. Now, Gilbert and Sullivan never really wrote about Earl's Court, but one of these impressive houses was the residence of the lyricist W.S. Gilbert, located at 39 Harrington Gardens. We'll return now to where we were on Courtfield Gardens. And we're back to the red brick, but with all the late 1860s development, no wonder there was the pressure to open Earl's Court Station after the railway had been opened without the station. Though really it's no real distance to Gloucester Road station from anywhere here. And we continue to the quite beautiful Gloucester Road station. But I'll save the story of that station, or this station, for the next walk east along the line.
然后吃的饭。